Hello, everybody. We are live. Can everybody see me? Can everybody hear me? How y'all doing? We are back for another stream post the preseason game of last night. I decided to do this in two parts because yesterday I didn't get to start the stream until late, and I know some people were probably already in bed. We did get a big turnout yesterday, by all means. Don't get it wrong on that. A lot of people showed up, but I wanted to give people an opportunity to show up who maybe were in bed. Maybe people who just were too tired to really tune in. So, we're going to go for, I don't know, like an hour. And that'll be on top of the hour and a half we went yesterday talking about this preseason game. So, same basic idea as yesterday. We're going to be talking about this preseason game. We're going to run for about an hour. Typical rules apply. To quickly run down my thoughts on the game, just this dirty summary. Not that this is anything too shocking, but my position hasn't changed radically. I think that the offensive line looked fantastic. The running game looked great. Drew Lock played good. Drew Lock showed me that I think he is the better quarterback right now. I will say, though, after really reconsidering stepping back and taking another look at that game, I think Geno maybe played a little bit better than I gave him credit for. It still really bothers me, that 3rd and 6 play. That one stuck in my mind more than anything else that either quarterback did yesterday. But other than that play, I do think it's fair to say Geno played okay. Defensively, the pass rush I thought was solid, and there's a lot of promise in that area. The negatives for me from that game would just be, I would say, the tackling, the run defense in general, and some of the mixed things from that game. I would say would be our reserve wide receivers had good stuff and bad stuff. I think that the cornerbacks getting to play a lot, the rookie cornerbacks getting to play a lot was great. But they did get toasted a little bit, but that's probably all part of the process, so that's fine. Special teams was mixed. I saw some stuff I really liked, some stuff I really didn't like. And with that being said, let's go ahead and swing into things here. A Big Patty Daddy, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Brendan, who's better this year, Seahawks or Mariners? And it's got to be the Mariners. Mariners could lose every game for the rest of the season. They might still end up having a better year than the Seahawks, honestly. So, yeah, I would say the Mariners. But, yeah, we're going to go for about an hour. I'm going to address as many comments as I can, but I'm not going to be able to address all of them probably because they're going to be coming in pretty quickly. If you have a comment that you really want me to see, you can send it in as a super chat or a tip, and I'm guaranteed to see it, read it, respond to it, etc. Member comments, if you are a channel member, your comment is much more likely to be seen because of the way it appears visually on the stream window. You can become a channel member by clicking the join button down below. You can tip by clicking on the link in the description. And super chatting is the $sign in the chat. And that will be about it, I believe, in terms of the rules and the way in which this will work. So let's take a look here. Thoughts on rookie tackles. They both played great, Adrian. PFF gave them great grades as well this morning, and I'll talk more about that tomorrow probably in a video. But PFF backed up what we saw. And that's what I always say about PFF. They should not be used to form your take. They should be used to confirm what you suspect to be true. And PFF gave both guys a good grade yesterday. I think Cross got a grade in the 70s, and Abe Lucas got something in the 80s. And Abe Lucas played the most snaps of any player on our offense. He played almost the whole game. So great stuff from him. T-Man, how did Joel Dublanco look? I thought he looked okay. I didn't notice anything over the top, but he was okay. I don't get the sense he's going to be a starter, but if Cody Barton doesn't perform, not the worst idea to throw him out there for a couple games and see what's up. Nobody we put out there this year is probably going to be great other than Brooks, so why not? Byron D, I honestly want to know why Seahawks are always getting rain on. We're not, Byron D. We're not. We had one of the best run defenses in the league last year and the year before. It was top I think it was second in yards per carry last year, so that's not true. Yesterday it was bad tackling, but also you are going to feel the loss of Bobby Wagner at least a little bit. So the run defense will take a step back this year almost certainly, but the idea that we're always getting ran on is not true. Ben Klee, thoughts on Ken Walker? I thought he looked fine. Didn't get a chance to bust any big runs, but he looked good. The 3rd and 1, I think, was just a bad play call. There were 800 players in the box. You can't run on that. He-Man, did you see Lucas's pancake? Yeah, I did. He looked good, man. Mark, who do you think will win the backup safety job? I think Josh Jones was solid. Yeah, Josh Jones is interesting. Mark, I will say this. I didn't notice a lot from Marquise Blair yesterday. PFF thought he played great. So I don't know if that's going to amount to anything, but NFL teams definitely pay attention to stuff like that. So Blair may still be that guy for now. Iden, what would you give up for Roquan Smith? Second rounder, second round pick. Maybe the Broncos' second round pick plus a little bit extra, like a 5th rounder. And that's pending him not being a moron, by the way. Apparently, he's got somebody representing him who doesn't actually represent him, calling other teams, asking about trades when the team has not given him permission to seek a trade, which is a big problem. So he might be an idiot, and if he's an idiot, then I can't mess with him right now because we're kind of rebuilding. ANML, I want to see the 3rd preseason game when more of our defense is healthy. If offense plays like that, not too bad of a year. Well, the defense is probably not going to show what they really are until the season starts because we're not going to be showing the full scheme yet because you don't do that in the preseason. You don't blitz as much as you're going to. I mean, did you guys hear the Bill Belichick thing where apparently he was mad at Wink Martindale for blitzing so much in that preseason game? That goes to show you that blitzing is not something that happens a lot in the preseason. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens in the regular season. Marty Williams, thank you for the $4.99. How far realistically do you think a great Seahawks O-line could take this team? Not saying we're already great, but if it went that way. I think it would make the running game really good. My issue is that Geno seems to panic on 3rd down even when he has good protection. So I'm not crazy about that part. But if it's Drew Lock, it could be pretty decent. I don't think it's going to be good, but it could be okay. But look, when this offensive line starts playing against starting edge rushers, like, week 2, we're going to have to deal with Bosa. Week 3, I mean, Ebiketie is going to be there too. When we get to teams like the Raiders and we have to deal with Chandler Jones, the Chargers, Khalil Mack, and the other Bosa, those guys are going to have problems that they didn't have last night. Hey, Tony, what's up? How do you think the Nathaniel? How do you think the OL did? Notice they hardly allowed sacks. I think they played great. The sacks they gave up were not necessarily their fault. Like the first one on Geno, or the only one on Geno. Geno had plenty of time and he started dancing in the backfield. So that's not on the offensive line. The Berg Show. Do you think we still have our eyes on Darnold or Jimmy G? No, I don't think we want either guy at all. Mass Temple, Brooks, Nwosu, and Taylor would set Roquan straight. Well, there's only so much they can do if he's an idiot off the field, like letting apparently a family member try to call teams about a trade when he hasn't been given permission to seek a trade yet. Like, there's only so much those guys can do about that. If he's going to do that kind of stuff, I'm a little off that wagon. Tony Borg Silva, Pittsburgh all out blitzed on the fumble. Yeah, they did. They did, but I don't think they blitzed that much overall. C. Hench, Phil Haynes over Gabe Jackson to start the season. Noticed PFF gave Haynes a 90.6 for this game. It's looking that way for me. It's looking that way for me. I think Phil Haynes is more interesting. Gabe Jackson, there's not much ceiling there because he's getting older and he's almost definitely not going to be here next year. So I think that starting Haynes would be the right thing to do until he gets hurt. If he gets hurt, then you go, oh, well, we can't depend on him. But at least we tried. Berg Show, would you rather go 3-14 or 8-9? Probably 3-14, honestly. 8-9 is just purgatory. Although, I will say this, though. 8-9 means that the team is probably really good to go, and they just need a quarterback. So maybe 8-9 would actually. Well, man, man. Now that I say that, you kind of got me thinking. Maybe 8-9 would be better, assuming that the quarterback doesn't play great and drag a terrible team to an 8-win record. If that happens, that's a problem. But if it's 8-9 because the running game is great and the defense is great and the quarterback just can't quite get it done, then that's actually probably better. Hawk Zero, keep all the first and second round picks in case we have to trade up for a QB next draft. I'm not that worried about that, Hawk Zero. There are so many good quarterbacks in the next draft. You're going to be able to get one. Locke needs to start next game from Tony. He clearly outplayed Gino. I do think he was better than Gino. I don't think it's as clear as I initially thought. Like, the fumble is a problem. I know it's not all Locke's fault, but he was involved with that. Mask, I do like how Taylor is the clear-cut leader of this defense. Yeah, he seems to have worked out, seems to have worked that out pretty well. I thought Brooks and Adams would be the leaders of this defense, but if it's Taylor, it's Taylor. Liam, thoughts on Lewis at left guard? He played fine last night, but we'll see what happens against starters. But he played fine, and maybe this is going to work out, man. If it works out, it's actually a really good trade. Byron D, also nice haircut. Thank you, Byron. Tony, I really wanted to see more from Ken Walker, but Dallas played really physically. Yeah, he just didn't get the ball a ton. Like, I think he looked good for the touches that he got. I don't have a problem with anything he was doing out there. He just didn't get the big carries that Dallas and Homer got, but he looked good. I'm optimistic about where that's going. Tony, I can't believe Taylor missed that sack. Yeah, but better he missed that sack. Better he missed that sack in preseason than miss it in the regular season, right? Nolan, first preseason game, the linebacker, safeties, and corners were all backups yesterday except Barton. I don't think yesterday was what we should expect all season long. Absolutely, Nolan. I agree. And by the way, I think some people are also losing track of the fact that um, our top five receivers did not play. We were literally playing the practice squad of receivers for Gino and Locke. So both those guys are going to probably look a lot better when they get to work with their starting receivers. And you saw the mistakes the receivers made. Derek Young missed some blocks. He had a drop. Bo Melton had a drop. So don't discount that. I know they're playing backup defensive players as well, but literally not a single receiver that played for the Seahawks yesterday is guaranteed to make the team. Several of them are extremely unlikely to make the team. Nathaniel, do you think Jason Myers will still be around? I really don't like him as a kicker. He's been looking sluggish. Yeah, he's going to be here. It's too late. There's nobody else you can get. If you wanted to move on from him months ago and draft somebody. It's too late now. We're stuck with him. Byron D, was Barton calling the shots? I'm not sure. I would assume so because Brooks was out. Mass, that boy Homer shifty and got power. Yeah, he might be more than a third down back. Not that we need him to be more than a third down back, but he's come a long way. He's come a long way. He used to be the fall guy for the offense, but now he's actually a good player. Tony, Mafe is going to be a great rotational player. Yeah, hopefully we keep things nice and simple for him so he can just focus on doing what he does best. I wasn't counting on him having a massive impact as a rookie, but maybe he'll do a little more than I thought. I still don't think he's going to be like a 12-sack guy, but he's going to make his presence known. Daniel, Stone Forsythe had a higher PFF grade than Cross. I did see that. Both guys had a pretty good grade. Forsythe's was a little bit better. Granted, Forsythe is probably playing against lesser competition, but Stone looks okay. And that's good, too, because there were some plays in the mock game where Forsythe did not look good, and people were getting a little antsy in the pants. about him. Tony, once DK and Lockett get out there, it's going to look like a different offense. Yeah. Yeah, don't discount that. Like I said, Derek and Bo, they both made plays. They both did good things. But they also had some miscues out there that Lockett and Metcalf probably won't have. Lockett didn't drop a single pass all year. I think Bo and Derek had at least 2 drops combined, maybe 3. And DK drops passes, but he's also going to get open a lot better than those guys. So don't discount that. Mass Temple, Myers seems like he got his money and doesn't really care anymore. I mean, he had his money when he had that monster year in 2020. So I don't know about that. I think he's just a mediocre kicker who had a couple of really good years just kind of randomly. That's how kicking works for 95% of kickers. T-Man, Bo Melton has looked pretty good in blocking. Yeah, I noticed that. And the thing about that that's interesting is I didn't think he was going to be a good blocker coming out of college. I thought that was the main thing I didn't like about him. I liked almost everything else. So if he can block and he can get off jams at the line of scrimmage, which was the other thing I didn't like that much about him, you have yourself a real quality player. Tumbo, the season is going to suck anyway, so who cares about Myers? Our season won't be dependent on a kicker like 2017. Well, the argument, Tumbo, is that you could have used this year to audition a new kicker to try to find somebody you use going forward because it's not going to be Myers. But you're kind of right. It doesn't matter that much. So it's not worth being really concerned about. David Ott, do you think based on only what we saw yesterday that Derek Young would make the team? Probably yes, because he was a draft pick, but it's going to be really hard to find room for him, I got to say. Like, I kind of feel like Melton doesn't make the team if Eskridge makes the team, almost, because they're kind of redundant in some ways. I'm wondering how both guys make the team. It'll be hard. The Berg Show, did you see the Bills rookie punter with the 82-yard punt? I did. It was pretty good. Pretty good. Tony, Tariq Woolen and Kobe didn't play too bad besides the tackling for the first game. Well, Tariq had the blown coverage, but yeah, I mean, those guys are getting valuable experience, right? Like, there's nothing wrong with getting beat up every now and then. There's nothing wrong with giving up some stuff every now and then. You just got to learn from it. Robin Wolf, greetings from Germany. Which game are you going to stream next? I guess I'm streaming the Cowboys game, and then I'm probably going to stream the Falcons game in week 3. That's probably the schedule. Mass Temple, Cade Johnson, PR. I like it. He wasn't scared like Swain. Yeah, Cade. That's what I'm saying. It's going to be hard to find room for all these guys. If Cade is our best punt returner, then you got to have him. But does that mean you send Bo Melton to the practice squad and hope nobody scoops him? Does that mean you send Derek to the practice squad and hope the same with him? Like, it's kind of hard to balance all this stuff, but it's a good problem to have, for sure. Tony, did you like Melton or Young? I like Melton a little bit more, but Derek has a more unique skill set, so I can go either way. Hey, Michael, what's up? No, JJ, I do think Dwayne Eskridge is going to make the team. I do think he will. What I'm saying is that can you have him and Bo because they're a little redundant? Tony, why don't they have Melton or Eskridge at punt returner? Well, Eskridge because we're afraid his brain's going to get turned into mush. Melton, I would like to see on punt returns. Like that one long play he had, he kind of showed a little bit of punt return ability in a way, right? Like he gets the ball in a little bit of open space, makes one guy miss, and then he's off to the races. Byron D, we got a blitz, Taylor, Mafe, and Adams and sack the hell out of Russ week 1. That's the idea. That's the kind of stuff that he struggled at when he was here. So that's the idea, right? That's what you should be doing. T-Man, maybe we put Derek on the practice squad but put him on IR so no one can take him. I mean, he has to be injured for that, T-Man. He's not going to agree to do that if he's not injured. He wants to play, right? Like, he's not going to willingly put himself out for the year just so he can stay with the team, right? So he'd actually have to be injured. Mark, you think the team will roll as is at linebacker, or will they make a move for someone before the deadline? The only guy that I could see them making a move for is Roquan, but more than likely, I think we just stick with what we have, and that's fine. Like, yeah, it's a problem, but this team was always going to have some problems on their roster because they they had so many holes from last season. They can only fill so many, and they filled a lot, but you're not going to fill all of them. Tony, Bo will probably make practice squad. If he makes it there, remember, every team is going to have a chance to pick him up. A team that's thin at receiver might go, hey, that guy can be our number 6 receiver. Michael, every year it seems like we have too many receivers. We don't. We have DK Tyler and a bunch of Jags. Yeah, but those Jags have value. They have clear value. Like, one of these guys is going to be the punt returner. One of these guys is going to be somebody who's going to be a, fun, who's going to fit in really well with the Waldron scheme because of all the end arounds we like to do and the jet sweeps. Like you have to sort that stuff out. Tony, what would it take to get Roquan? Based on what the Bears did with Khalil Mack, I would say like a second round pick. T-Man, it looks like it's between Goodwin and Melton to get cut. Yeah, I mean, Goodwin is got ability. Goodwin has ability, but Melton actually has upside. DH, we need a good receiver 3. It's more important than we think. Swain is not good enough. Well, I think we're still thinking it's going to be Eskridge, but he needs to actually get out there on the field. He needs to actually, be healthy in order for that to work. Michael, Seahawks are good at trading. Even Jody Allen said it's in their wheelhouse. We're good at making small trades. I don't think we're good at making big trades. That's come back and bitten us a lot lately, honestly. David Ott, Goodwin is too old to just be a depth receiver. He's either the receiver 3 or he gets cut. Yeah, I kind of agree with that, but it's not like Goodwin has ever had any monster seasons. So, Goodwin, maybe he'll be okay being a depth receiver, but I kind of agree with you in the sense that he's a little too good to just keep for no reason, given his age. Mars Rays, do not spam questions in the chat. Do not do that. Okay, we don't deal with that here. You wait your turn. If I miss your comment, send it again in a few minutes, or super chat it or tip it. Do not spam the comment over and over. What position would you trade for if you were the manager? I mean, the only one you could really think of right now probably is linebacker. I don't think you could really consider doing anything else. That's the one position where we don't really have anybody we're super high on. Mason Dahl, I know it's not the biggest hole on the roster, but if Blythe gets hurt, we're screwed. Yeah, we could be standing to do better, a little better at the center spot. But, again, that's something we can worry about more next offseason, I think. But Blythe played good. Byron D, thank you for the $1.99 super chat. Did you watch Malik? Should we have drafted him? I'm fine with not drafting Malik because I think he is going to be he's a couple years out. And I didn't really want a quarterback. But I do think he's going to be good. I just don't think he's going to be good for a while. By the time he's good, it's already going to be time to pay him, almost. So I'm not crazy about that, but I do think he'll be good. I'm not really missing him, though. I don't have a problem with anything we did in the draft. I don't. DH, most of our guards are pretty versatile, though. Most guards can evidently play center. That's dangerous, though, DH. That is dangerous. Just assuming that a guy can change positions and still be good. Like, we try that a lot. Marty Williams, I don't know why we like jet sweep so much. I feel like we haven't ever really been very good at it. David Moore was good for it, and Percy Harvin was good for it last year, looked a little better. Well, it's a big part of the new offense with Waldron, and Waldron just got here, so got to give him time. Last year, he was going to do it a lot with Eskridge, and then Eskridge got hurt and barely played, and there was nobody on the roster who was really good at that stuff. Grug, Puna looked pretty damn good yesterday, don't you think? It seemed to me that he did look pretty good. I didn't. A lot of people pointed it out yesterday, and I didn't notice him as much as some people were indicating. So I kind of want to check it again. But Puna seems like he did actually play a little better than some people expected, which is good because we're going to need that. Tony, most of the rookie quarterbacks played well. Yeah, Bailey Zapp looked pretty good, man. And I still don't think that guy has an NFL arm. Marty, I don't think we've ever been too scary with jet sweeps, though. Well, yeah, we didn't run offenses that used them that much, except when we had Percy Harvin, really. Percy Harvin was dangerous with that stuff, but I think that looking at it now, with the personnel we have and the offensive coordinator we have, we got to start adapting that a little bit more. David, do you think Gabe Jackson makes the team? I do because we have no left guard depth, even if Haynes starts, and Haynes is injury prone. There's nobody you can really trust to be that, except for Gilmore, who is a UDFA. So I think Gabe makes the roster regardless. T Man, from what you've seen, did Dublanco or Barton play better? Probably Dublanco, but neither guy blew me away. Probably Dublanco. Barton seemed to make a lot of mistakes to me, but I wasn't in love with either guy. DHDH, how come we played such little 3-4 yesterday? Nwosu looked pretty bad and couldn't stay on his feet. I mean, remember, the defense is going to be a hybrid, and we're also not going to be showing all of our best looks in the preseason. People don't do that. So, not showing a lot of 3-4 in your first preseason game is probably a good idea. Um, when the regular season starts, should start seeing more of that stuff become unveiled. Remember, you don't blitz a lot in the preseason, and blitzing is how you get your pressure in a 3-4 defense. Michael C., did you agree with Pete Carroll's comment that Geno was 10 for 10 except for receiver drops? Well, that's not how it works. I mean, obviously, technically the comment is true, but I look at that comment and I see Pete trying to basically pump up Geno, talk about how great Geno is, and I also see him trying to talk down Drew Lock. It seems to me like he has a favorite in that battle. It seems to me that he's already decided he thinks Geno is better, and that bothers me a little bit. There should be an honest competition, but time will tell if that actually holds. But Geno could have been 10 for 10 at one point. However, he also had that terrible play on 3rd and 6 that still bothers me more than almost anything that happened yesterday. That can't happen ever, especially not with a quarterback like Geno who knows he's a bus driver. That was really bad, especially given the fact that I'm pretty positive Homer had the first. He just had to get it to him. Rain in the cut. I'm excited about Mafe. He looked good for his first preseason game. Yeah, I saw way more from him than I expected. I like him a lot. I love him, actually. He was one of my favorite players in this draft. He played awesome. I think he's going to be a great player for us. But I wasn't expecting him to hit the ground running. A couple people have pointed out that the false steps that he had in college that really limited his production look like they might be gone. If that's true, that's huge. That is huge. And the fact that it's already happened is just massive. So, really excited about that. Mason, we played vanilla defenses to make it simple for unexperienced players. That's part of it as well. There's a lot of reasons why you keep it simple in the preseason, especially the first game. I remember back in the old days, I was watching a preseason game, and one of the announcers, it might have even been John Madden. I don't know if Madden did preseason games. I'm assuming he did at some point. Anyway, he said something like, if you run a bootleg every single play in the preseason, you will get a guaranteed 15 to 20 yards on every play. The defense will never stop it because they're playing so vanilla. You run a bootleg, it's going to be a free completion, easy 20 yards. So now teams don't do that a lot because you don't learn anything from it, but it gives you an idea of what I'm talking about here. Crispy Boy, loved Cross's play so far. Your thoughts? I thought he played awesome. Thought he played awesome. Very impressed with him. Not going against TJ Watt, not going against the best players in the league, but played great. Do you think the Walker will be the backup to Penny, or will Dallas take that spot? It's going to be Walker. Tony, do you think more of the starters will play next game? Yeah, I would expect him to play, them to play at least a little bit more. All right, guys, we're about halfway through the stream now. We've been going for a half an hour. So I want to give a shout out to all the people who showed up today. We've got 193 people. Please like the stream if you haven't already. We've got about 26 likes on my counter right now. It might be more. Sometimes it's behind. But please like the stream if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and you want daily Seahawks content. You can become a channel member for $2 or $5 a month. Member comments in the stream chat are more likely to be seen and responded to. You can also support the channel by donating via Super Chat or tips in the description. And also, we do have gifted memberships live on the channel now. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and do one real quick here, or at least I'm going to try to. I did one last night. I'm going to do another one now, and what's going to happen is a random person in the chat is going to get a free 1-month subscription to the channel. So give me one moment here. So somebody, let's see here. Grug has become a channel member. All right. Grug has won a free channel membership. Very nice. So if you click on the $ in the chat, one of the options is gift a membership. It's kind of like Twitch. Twitch does the same thing. So I'll be dropping one in every now and then, but anybody can do it, basically. Mars Rays, love how the O-line played. Do you think they can be a top 15 O-line next year? Probably not, because they're going to have rookies at the edge, but I think they will be top 15 next year and going forward. The Berg Show, are you surprised that 37-year-old Dwayne Brown got 2 years, $22 million from Jets? No, because they were desperate. They got caught with their pants down and they had to give him whatever they wanted. If Dwayne Brown was negotiating on an even keel, I think he would have gotten something closer to like 1 year 5, maybe 1 year 7. 2 years 22 is because the Jets are desperate. Absolutely. JJ, if we do bad this season, should we find a new coach? It's not in the cards. We're rebuilding. There ain't going to be no new coach in the middle of a rebuild, I don't think. Honestly, and once you commit to a rebuild, that coach has leash. And I think he's got a leash for at least a couple years. Michael, did D-Lock lose the game when they fumbled the ball and the Squealers went in to score the final touchdown? Well, I mean, I don't know what you mean by that, Michael. Yes, that's literally what happened. But there were some moving parts to that. It's not just Drew Lock. It's not just the offensive line. It's not just Thompson. There's some moving parts there. That I can live with. The problem with that play where Geno had the 3rd and 6 that really bugged me, the play that I really didn't like, the thing that I didn't really like about that play, that's all Geno. Homer got open for a check down that probably would have been a first. The offensive line held up, and Geno just started dancing in the backfield. That's my issue with that play. That's all Geno's fault, pretty much. Renowned Rivers PNW. Thoughts on Derek Young? Seems like a Ricardo Lockett or a mini DK with great athleticism and strength. Yeah, some people have drawn that comp. I look at him and see, like, maybe you could do some Debo stuff with him, where you're giving him, like, stuff out of the backfield, end arounds, jet sweeps. Kind of a hybrid running back receiver, but probably not that good, obviously, but that's the idea behind him, I think. Ty Slomy, welcome to the channel. We have a new sub. All right. The sub counter is working. I hadn't seen it in a while. Or, hey, Brendan, I didn't see Barton get a tackle. I think Joel and Vi, who got a sack at the end of the game, and Donkor need to start. I wasn't overall impressed with V. Jones, even though he did have the nice sack. I didn't think he played that well either. I don't think any of the interior linebackers played particularly good. including Barton. Mason, will Cross be better than Dwayne Brown was last year? Probably not. And I want to emphasize that. I want to really emphasize that. I want to be abundantly clear on that. Dwayne Brown was a good tackle last year. Expecting a rookie like Cross, to be better than him as a rookie is a little unfair of him, I think. Unfair on him. Ayaan Ali, why didn't the rookie edge rusher from Ohio State play? He was hurt. He's got a bad hip. Has a bad hip. He's hurt. Hawks fan, do you think Phil Haynes should start at guard? Right now, yes, I do, Hawks fan. Crispy Boy, would you expect a similar run-heavy offense similar to our 2013 offense now that we have Locke? I would, but I think we're going to play from behind a lot, so that'll force us to pass a little bit more sometimes. But all things being equal, absolutely. Yes. Mason, do you think it's more likely Carroll leaves on his own terms or is fired? I'm sure he's going to get to leave on his own terms. Even if he gets fired, they're going to go to him and be like, look, we're about to fire you. You can step down or let it happen. And he'll probably step down and probably still get most of his money. So, absolutely. Leave him silent. I feel like Gino gets nervous when the pocket gets smaller. Yeah. Yeah, I've noticed that as well. He seems to panic a little on third down, which I really don't like. But, look, right now he is still probably leading the QB battle, but I believe that can change. Parth Parab, Seahawks had the highest rated pass blocking grade in the NFL preseason. Let's go. Hey, it was great. It's hard to find a play where they really messed up, right? The first sack on Gino was all Gino's fault. The sack on Locke where he fumbled was not... I mean, that's... There are a couple of moving parts there. The offensive line had something to do with it, but Locke needs to find the blitz, and Thompson needs to chip block. Third and fourth string O-line against the only team that blitzes in the preseason. Yeah, that fumble was not even 10% Drew's fault. Apparently the Giants blitzed a lot in the preseason. Goathawk, do you seriously want to waste draft picks and cap space on a linebacker, or would you want to draft one next year? If it's somebody as good as Roquan, I'm willing to do it. If it's somebody as good as Roquan, then, you know, I think it's worth it. But that's contingent on a couple things. The trade has to be decent value. He has to not be an idiot who's letting family members run around and LARP as his agent when he's not even allowed to legally seek a trade right now. Like it's contingent on some things. Mason Dahl, Gino did the same thing in the pocket last year against Pittsburgh. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Like, one of the reasons why we moved on from Wilson was because he was getting to be really bad in the pocket. So with Gino, you've got a guy who is also bad in the pocket if he continues to do this stuff, but he doesn't have the deep ball, he doesn't have the agility or mobility. He like you've basically gotten Russ without any of the stuff that made Russ good. So at that point, what do you have other than a slightly better version of Nathan Peterman? Ayaan Ali, what would Gabe Jackson's trade value be? He's a good player, but a 31-year-old guard on a rebuilding team doesn't make sense for us to give him PT. Could we get a fifth? I doubt it, Ayaan. I'd be happy with a seventh. I don't think he has value. He's not that good. He's okay. I'd be happy getting a fifth or a seventh, honestly. The Berg Show, if Gino or Locke are great, do you pay one of them or draft a QB? I'm still drafting a QB. Zorn, thank you for the $20 super chat. Appreciate it, Zorn. Brendan, thank you for allowing me to spam your board with my 2022 pessimism. Great job with your channel. No problem, Zorn. A lot of us are a little pessimistic right now, but that pessimism doesn't have to come from a place of anger and depression. It can come from a place of understanding and looking at the long term. Mason, to be fair, I think Gino is at least an average athlete at the position. He might be, but he's not Lamar Jackson. He's not Josh Allen, so he's not giving you positive things there. It's neutral. Ian ML, do you think Adams will get back to first-team All-Pro level play again since they're in 3-4 if he stays healthy? I think he's going to be great in this scheme if he can stay healthy, yes. I think it's built for a guy like him. So hopefully he can stay healthy. But we're already not off to a great start there, are we? Linebacker 54, welcome to Elite Channel membership. Welcome aboard, Linebacker 54. We have member number 99. One more and we reach our monthly goal, I believe. Sometimes the counter gets out of whack, but we have a new member. Welcome aboard. So once we get to 100, I can start swapping out some of the member emojis. So that'll be cool. Kirk, would you really want to pay 2 middle linebackers after trading for Roquan? It depends on your ability to stay cheap at other positions. Like right now, we are probably going to be cheap at quarterback for the next 4 years. Going to be cheap at tackle for 3 years minimum. We're going to be cheap at pass rusher for at least 2 more years, I think, maybe more. We're going to be cheap at corner for the next 3 years minimum, maybe 4. So, therefore, you have money left over. How do you use that money? It does you no good if it just sits there. So you have to spend it on something. Maybe you go spend it on a less expensive position. So if you stay cheap at those positions for the next several years, you can afford to spend big money elsewhere. Berg Show, is it true that Adams had a finger amputated? No. No, he did not get it amputated. or, hey Brandon, how about move Alton Robinson to an inside linebacker? Why would we think that he can do that? He played defensive end in college, and he's played defensive end with a little bit of linebacker here, outside linebacker. What evidence do we have that Alton can even contemplate playing inside linebacker in a 3-4? Sounds like a dicey idea to me. Mason, honestly, I thought the corners played fine. We aren't giving the Steelers QBs enough credits. They made some great throws. Yeah, the touchdown on Kobe was just an incredibly good pass. It is what it is. I thought the corners played okay. It's just they need a tackle. The tackling was bad, and there's no getting around that. Everything else, okay. Like Tariq blew a coverage, but it's his first ever preseason game. It's fine. It happens. But the tackling, ugh. Crispy Boy, would you expect our defense to stick to Pete Carroll's zone or use more man coverage? I expect us to use more man coverage. I don't know if it's going to be more than the zone, but it's going to be more than previous. Chase Stern, how many more seasons does Adams play for us? I think he plays until the contract makes it viable to get out from underneath the money. I think he's stuck here for a little while longer. And that's probably okay. I think he will start playing at a much higher level. But admittedly, if he has another devastating injury this year, that's could be it. We might just say, you know what, we'll take the dead money hit. It's not working. Let's just move on. It's possible, but it's a lot of dead money right now. Mason, I think that Alton Robinson's going to make the roster anyway. Mike Jackson might be a practice squatter. I don't think there's room for him on the active roster unless these injuries linger on. But Alton should make the roster regardless. Fenner 27, which college QB looks best to you and the Hawks could possibly get? I still like Will Levis the most. Interested to see the Miami guy, Van Dyke. I'm going to keep an eye on KJ Jefferson, even though he doesn't really fit our team. Anthony Richardson, even though he doesn't really fit our offense either. So there are a lot of guys, honestly. Like Hendon Hooker, he's just old, but maybe that's not a big deal. Paul Third, I think Woolen looked a lot better than Bryant. George Pickens is not a speedster. Bryant was just outmatched. Well, Bryant had good coverage on that play. He just needs to get his head around. That's the thing. He just needs to get his head around a little bit earlier and things would have been okay. But he'll learn. He'll learn. Woolen did blow that coverage. He missed some tackles, but he came around. Came around and I thought looked pretty decent. So I'm not down on either guy, believe me. I like both guys a lot. But um I don't know. I can't get mad at Kobe for that touchdown. Not too mad anyway. He'll learn. Crispy boy, what are you paying attention to the most in our next preseason game? Um, maybe tackling. Make sure the tackling is improving at least some because it was so bad in that first game. But other than that, I'm gonna say the same stuff. I'm gonna say the same stuff. It's gonna be like pass rush and offensive line play. That's the most important stuff. Brandon Poirier, welcome to Basic Membership. Welcome aboard, Brandon. All right. I think that gets us to 100, so I can start messing around with the membership emojis. So we're going to have some new ones soon. I'm going to get rid of the Wilson and the Carson ones and replace them. Michael Cam 10, do you think we should hold off on trading for Smith just in case we end up with 2 high first-round picks? Well, Michael, you might not be... Michael Cam, excuse me. You might not be able to wait. Someone else might make the trade. Voodoo Magic, when was the last time you went to the Palace? It's been a couple months because I got really sick and I couldn't go. And every Friday since then, I've had something preventing me from going. I've been busy. I had to stay home or something. So it's been a couple months. I'm going to try to go again this week, though. Fenner, 27 luck, has a good arm and looked pretty fluid in his motions, gives him protection, and he could carve defenses up. He seems to have the tools. Oh, he has a great arm. He has a great arm. No doubt about it. Just jumped in. Sorry if you've already answered this, but what do you think the future is looking like for Disley? He clearly is going to have some value here because he's a good blocker and he does have pretty good hands. But there's only going to be so many pass attempts to go around in this offense. And Metcalf's going to get his. Lockett's going to get his. Fant's going to get his. There aren't exactly a ton of balls left, but Disley can offer you a few catches a game that's valuable. Paul Third, I thought that touchdown was just a straight route. How is he going to learn to be faster? Well, it's not about speed. It's just about getting your head around quickly, fast enough to find the ball. He had great coverage. He was right on him. He just needs to find the ball. It's not about just speed there. How did you think Cross and Lucas played from Isaac N? I thought they both played fantastic. I was really high on both of them. It's Jose. Locke was so much better than Gino. He was more confident and better at choosing where to throw the ball. The only thing is turnovers, even though some of them weren't his fault. Yeah, I think Locke looked better. I don't know if he looked better by enough to change the narrative, but I think he looked a little better. Although I do want to continue to point out neither guy got to play with the starting offensive receivers, except for Fant. Every receiver they played with except for Fant are guys who are not even guaranteed to make the team. Mason Dahl, honestly, Taylor was a little disappointing based on the training camp hype. Looked like he relied too much on his speed rush. I saw him make a couple disruptive plays, though, Mason. I think that if he didn't miss that really easy sack that he absolutely should have had, I don't think people would be as down on him as they are right now. Mickle Cam, is it just me or did you also notice lack of depth at the linebacker position? Well, yeah, we knew that. I think we all knew that the linebacker position was going to be a problem, but every team has problems. Every team has problems, especially a team like this that is rebuilding. So there was always going to be some problem, and that's the one we have. Renown Rivers PNW. Thoughts on DJ getting similar reps to KW3 in regular season? He is explosive, and I feel like he always gives us something. I don't think he can get similar reps to KW3. Kenneth Walker III is a guy you spent a second-round pick on, and to some degree you are betting your future on him. I think that he's going to play some, but Penny's trying to get paid. Homer's trying to get paid. So there isn't exactly a ton left over for DJ Dallas. It's not like he offers anything better than anybody else. Liam, what are your thoughts on Curhan playing at guard? He actually played okay, which surprised me. I don't want to see it in a real game, but he played okay. I thought he did fine. I'd really hope we don't see it against like starters in a real game, but I guess he can do fine against backups. Jose Walker didn't impress me too much. There was a lot of hype for him in training camp, but he didn't show up in that game. I mean, he didn't get the ball that much, Jose. He didn't get the ball that much. And I thought he looked fine when he got the ball. It was mostly just that 3rd and 1 call where he lost a couple yards, which I think that was a bad play call more than anything. Hey, David. Michael, I think Pete loves Gino and wants him to get the first chance to start because Gino's been hanging around as a good soldier backup the last few years. That's kind of the feeling I'm getting too, and I kind of understand it, but at the same time, I can't shake the feeling that Drew Lock just has a. There's just more upside there. More positive things can happen. Maybe more negative things can happen, but I feel like Gino's just going to result in a lot of punts. A lot of 3-and-outs, a lot of punts. Locke is going to turn the ball over some, but he's also going to actually lead you down the field a little bit more. Avery Allred did Haynes play okay? I remember one play where he instantly got shedded. I thought Haynes played great. I think I know what play you're talking about, Avery, but I thought he played great. I was really, really high on what he was offering. Gucci Young Dreams, did Cross do good blocking? I thought he did great, especially for a first game. No real complaints. Jose, I think it was more O line more than anything. I don't think it was mainly his fault due to the O line B second offense. Well, it was the starting offensive line. The starting offensive line played a lot in that game, but Walker only got like what 6 touches, I think, maybe 7. So it's just a small sample size. All right, so I'm gonna keep the stream going for about another 9 minutes here. 8 9 minutes, and then I'm gonna get out of here. I got some stuff to do. I will be on Twitch later today, by the way. Fire Emblem. Big Patty Daddy, why is Nick Bellore playing defense? Because he's a linebacker. He's a reserve linebacker. We have a lot of linebacker issues right now, so he's just getting on the field just because. It in the preseason, it's fine, especially when you're getting down to like your 3rd and 4th string guys. Tooth, Io, what's up, Brendan? It's me, Rip, just using a different account. Took an L yesterday, but Drew Lock did very well, better than Gino at least. Yeah, Rip, I thought he played fine. But good to see you back, Rip. Haven't seen you in a long time, my man. Good to see you. Michael, regardless who starts and how they play, I think it's a lock. No pun intended. We draft a QB in first round next year. Probably. I think it would be really hard for Locke to or Gino to play well enough to dissuade us from taking a quarterback. Especially when, look, if Locke has a big year, he's going to want $40 million a year. And who can blame him? So, unless you want to pay Drew Locke a ton of money off of one big year, that's the only other solution. Fenner 27, are you going to watch any of Russ's games? I'm curious to how he does. Well, I watch most games, Fenner, so I'm going to keep an eye for sure. Especially when we have their pick. Like, it matters. Big Patty Daddy, I thought he was fullback. He is, but he's also a linebacker. He does both. He is a two-way player. And we don't use a fullback in our offense almost ever, so his best chance to play is actually at linebacker. Jeff Wagner, Haynes and Stone were the highest rated linemen according to PFF. Yeah, but every lineman was graded pretty well. So, like, there was nobody on that offensive line who played badly. I think that's the main takeaway here. In the modern NFL, the conventional wisdom is becoming you are only as good as your weakest link on the offensive line. Maybe you can cover up one weak link, but definitely not two. Having an offensive line full of guys who are at least above average to good is maybe more important than having a superstar tackle or a superstar center. Ed Barton used Mabry at fullback on one play last night. Yeah, when we use the fullback, it's usually a tight end. It's usually not actually like a pure fullback. It'll be like Mabry, it'll be Fant, it'll be Disley, it'll be Parkinson. It's usually not the quote unquote fullback. So Jose, if Locke has a big year, do you really think they will give him 40 million? It's only really 1 year. Well, look at what Kyler Murray just got. What the hell has Kyler done? Kyler has a losing record, no playoff success at all, no seasons where he was in the MVP race, no seasons where he got even a vote for the All Pro team, first or second team, and he got 46 million. Quarterbacks get paid right now, and the cap is going way up. So, yeah, I do. Zorn76 RW is now playing in the best division in the NFL. It looks like it. I was kind of down on the Raiders this year, but I'm starting to think that maybe I was underestimating them a little bit. I think that maybe the Raiders are actually going to be good. I still think they are not like a Super Bowl contender or anything, but they might be a little better than I was giving them credit for. Okay, so we've got about another 4 minutes here, and then I'm going to get out of here. So I'm going to say it again. I will be on stream on Twitch later tonight. I don't know exactly when, but I will be. I'm hoping to grind through more Fire Emblem. Probably going to do a lot of that tonight because there's no sports on. So I'm just probably going to stream Fire Emblem for like, I don't know, pretty much all night. I woke up pretty late this morning, so probably going to go at that for quite some time. It's Jose Murray's a good QB, though. He has potential to where Locke is really just a big question mark. Well, Locke has potential. If Locke has a big year this year, he's not a question mark anymore. He looks like a quarterback who just went to the wrong team and the wrong system. And he found a system that he can be really good in, and now he's going to get paid. But is it a 1 year fluke thing? Did he just do it? Did he just go above and beyond to get the bag? That's the question. Gucci Young Dreams, you streaming the Bears game? No, I'm streaming the Cowboys game, it looks like. People want me to stream the Cowboys game, so that's what I'm going to do. Jeff Wagner, what would be your starting O-line? I guess what it was last night, I would probably switch Haynes and Lewis, but honestly, Lewis played good, so I guess you can at least keep him out there justifiably until it goes bad. Big Patty Daddy, Brendan, what's your occupation? I'm a software developer. Do exclamation point job in the chat and it comes up. I have the commands active. It's Jose. Is Posick still our center? No, Posick went to Cleveland. We have Blythe. Mason, thanks for the stream. When will the next one be? Well, I'm streaming tonight on Twitch. If you mean Seahawks stream, I'll probably do... Next game's Thursday. I'll probably do one... Maybe I'll do one on like Tuesday, and then I'm going to do the Hawks Nest stream on Wednesday. Thinking something like that. Yeah, before we tune out today, if you haven't already hit the like button, please do so. It helps. We got about 70 right now, I think. We got 200 people in here. So if you haven't already hit the like button, please do so. No problem, David. I appreciate the support. Thank you, Zorn76. I appreciate it. All right. So we're going to go for about another minute here, and then I'm going to peace on out. There should be a video in the morning, by the way. I'll come up with a little bit more to go into on the Steelers game. So definitely check that out. Goes live at about 9 in the morning. And yeah, we're going to get back into the swing of things like we were last year. A lot of Seahawks streams, pregame, postgame. Going to do some watch-alongs. But hey, we're back. We're back in the saddle. So thank you, everybody, for coming out. Had a very successful stream. Hit our super chat goal. No tips. I think that a lot of people don't know that the tip thing even really exists because it's not as clear-cut as super chats, but either way, it doesn't really matter that much. We are closing in on our goals for August for the channel as well, which is awesome. So we're already there with members. Let's hope we can get there with subs. I think we will. I think the preseason's actually going to put some gas in that tank. And with that being said, I'm going to get out of here. Peace out. Go Hawks.